Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on PharcydeTV with my co-host Jeremy Scipio.
What's going on, people?
And our guest, comedian Dave. What's the correct pronunciation of your last name?
It's Helem.
Helem. Okay. Yeah, I could have destroyed it, but I was like,
it's all good.
I was like, yeah, no,
all
good.
I've been called Helem, Helem, Helen. I mean, I know your heart means well. So,
you know, I know.
That's right.
That's cool. That's cool.
Scipio.
Everything.
Got the most Italian name for a black person.
The coolest name, man. A cool name. Sound like some money should be attached to it.
I'm like, were your slave masters Italian niggas? Like what? Why?
That was actually season 1, Jeremy Scipio comedy set. I waited on it, but I actually know the history real brief. Well, I'll just keep it really, really simple. The person whose name's attached to is Scipio Africanus. You know, so it's actually the blackest name you know now.
Uh-oh. Okay, King. Okay, King. It's on your hat, King.
Yeah, exactly. This is generic.
King. You know what I'm saying? So, Dave, where were you when you heard hip hop for the first time?
The very first time?
Yeah.
I think my dad would my dad had like 2 hip hop records growing up in the 80s because he didn't listen to like the hardcore hip hop. He liked the clean shit.
Okay.
So he had 2 shorts, the ghetto, like that single.
Hey.
And then he had MC Hammer's Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. So I thought that was rap. And then I found out that black people hated MC Hammer. I didn't realize that. I was like, MC Hammer's the greatest. And I go to school, they be like, man, fuck MC Hammer. Oh, Snoop Dogg, nigga. Like, I was like, okay, all right.
That's so true.
You know, I can I got a dope memory. I remember being at this club called Hollywood Live. It was right off of Hollywood. Was it Hollywood?
That's the first time you heard hip hop?
Huh?
That's the first time you heard hip hop?
No. But I was gonna give you a story about MC Hammer. And okay. I remember seeing MC Hammer there, and he wanted to battle fools, like, because you know, LA, it was like a dance culture going on, like the Far Side before they started rapping, they danced or whatever. And I remember seeing him there, and he had the little lines cutting his head and the diaper pants and everything. And that fool wanted to battle fools, and everybody it was like a joke though. Like fools was like, man, this fool can't dance, and they were just, they was like, man, we not gonna battle this fool. Not the Far Side, but just the LA little dancer scene that was going on at the time. But it's a trip because as I got older, like maybe like 10, 15 years later, I kind of felt sorry for Hammer, man. Because I mean, he was different, but he was different. But at the same time,
this is before he was on, right?
But you got to give him his props.
So hard, it's so hard to feel sorry for rich people.
This is before he was rich, though.
No. This was like when he was popping. This was like when him and Vanilla Ice, his manager was Vanilla Ice's manager and everything.
Wow.
But fools just hated on him so hard. Like as an adult, I look back and I'm like, man, fools kind of hated on him a little too hard. But as a kid, it was just kind of like, dude,
dog. Like he was so great at what he did. Like even that first album, Let's Get It Started. Like, and they just came on Apollo and they just danced for like 10 minutes straight with them hard ass beats. Like that shit was dope. Like it wasn't no cursing in it. And so it wasn't like the NWA 1988 dope music. It was just like, we just having a good time,
Yeah.
So it was just
ironically, both him and Snoop were on death row.
Oh, that's when Hammer was. That was 94.
That's when he was wearing the beanies and the lokes.
That's when he was trying to change his. That's when he had the G-string on. Talking about pumps in the bump. That was the Funky Headhunter album.
Oh my god!
When he was trying to be gangster, and I was like, nah, nigga.
And that was after We Have to Pray. He was already.
Oh yeah, he went through a couple of them, man. He went through a couple of them.
He was the Kanye West of his time. He just kept changing himself every album.
Man. So when did you first realize you had a passion for doing comedy?
Man. I think the first special I saw was Chris Rock, Bring the Pain in 95 or 96. I can't remember. The one that was in DC. And he was talking about Marion Barry smoking crack. He was just talking about how black folks get more love coming out of prison than from graduating college. Because, oh, you got a master degree? You ain't my master, nigga. I can count 1, 2, 4, 5, counting these rocks, bitch. Like, I just remember watching that special, and I was like, yo, I can do this. Like, I get all he's saying. It's so smart. It's like I get every joke, but I didn't start doing comedy until I got divorced in 2009. And I moved back to Chicago from Atlanta.
Wow.
And I went through a period where I was like, man, I'm kind of in a low point in my life. Just got divorced. I was like 28. So I was like, you know what? Let me go to my boy Clark Jones or Will Miles, these 2 Chicago cats.
Wow, I didn't know you knew him that long.
Yeah, man. We all went to college together at Morehouse, honestly. But they had an open mic called Two Black Dudes and an Open Mic in Chicago on the north side, the white part of town. And I did my first open mic, and I sat down like Bill Cosby. My first time doing comedy, I sat down, which I do now still. And they was like, nigga, don't you ever sit down again. Like, that's so disrespectful for you to come in here, your first time doing this, and you sit down like you the GOAT. And I was just like, I'm just comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I'm lazy, you know? So, and I did it. And that shit was like a drug. I need more. I need more. So I fell in love like the first time I did it, like it was crack.
Yeah. Well, just to let you know, I'm gonna keep it short-winded, but before Wu-Tang blew up, I saw him perform in LA. I want to say it was like a bowling alley, and all 9 of them was on stools, and they rapped their whole show on stools.
At a bowling alley?
And didn't, yeah.
I mean, was that like?
It was a cool club. It was like a cool club. Homeboy would throw like these underground events, and he was actually their road manager. This dude named Bigger B. So it was kind of like when they were trying to promote him to LA, like before you heard any song.
This is like before Protect Your Neck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it was before, but this had to be about like 93 or 94. You know what I'm saying? This was very.
I would have loved to see that, bro. Seen that.
Dude, it was amazing because you saw 9 people on stools and they were all rapping and nobody rapped over each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was pretty much. But anyway, I'll let you go. But I had to. But when you said the stool thing, but I was like, nah, man. Some of the coolest dudes in the world have done it on the stool.
I believe that, man. Like, I still want to just see that Wu-Tang rapping on stools, nigga. Like that to me is something that I would just love to see, man. Like, Wu-Tang is my favorite group of all time. Like, because you can't think of another group where it's 9 people that could all rap. Like, when you think of Jodeci, like Jagged Edge, 2 of them niggas didn't do shit. Like JoJo, and then Mr. Dalvin and Devontae, they didn't really sing. Devontae did the beat. Mr. Dalvin was just Devontae's cousin, I think. But like, you never saw a group with just 9. Like, everybody just got busy. Even with New Edition, like, niggas, they wasn't doing nothing. Then they was like, all right, man, fuck you. We're gonna be Bell Biv DeVoe, right? So Wu-Tang was like, everybody could have a solo album, and even though every album wasn't the greatest, or each person wasn't the greatest necessarily, they all could hold it down on a verse. So I really appreciated that, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll say with. Oh man, I just saw the Red Man and Method Man verses.
That's what I was about to bring up.
That blew my mind.
Oh man,
who'd you have?
You know, on the weekends, I try to listen to one album. Just one album. I just pick, whether it's hip hop, whether it's new wave, old stuff, just whatever. Because we've, like, with all the streaming and all the singles, we forget the artistry that it goes into making an album, a cohesive album, you know, themed and all that kind of stuff. And it's amazing to me because you know, there's some dope albums out there, man. But the people of today, today's generation, not sounding old and just all that or whatever.
But shit.
No,
them damn mumble rappers.
I won't say that, but I'll just say people just like a bunch of singles. They like a bunch of songs. They don't like the concept of an album, the cover of the album. You know what I'm saying? The inside of the album, the way that the songs cohesively tie together. If there's skits,
well, there's no booklet anymore. I lived for the booklet. That's it.
You got Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? I feel like every Kendrick album has been like, from Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly to Damn, and Damn is so cold that if you listen to Damn backwards, they say that's the order that it's supposed to be in. But I don't even consider Kendrick like a real new school rapper, even though he is relatively new. But he has very much old school isms about himself, you know. So I hear you.
We just had a person chime in and said, "Hi guys, the ghetto was the first for me too. My mom was a full-blooded Christian. Growing up, I had heard all I heard were Christian songs, and she loved the ghetto."
Yeah, because it was that old sample. I forgot it. The ghetto.
Yeah.
That's what my dad liked it. You know what I'm saying? My dad was so mad when he first heard MC Hammer because he had heard "You Can't Touch This," that doom, 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 doom. He like, man, ain't nothing but Super Freak. That's Super Freak. That's Super Freak. He was so mad because this is like they didn't sample records. Nah. He was like, that ain't MC Hammer. That's Big James. And I was like, Dad, that's Super Freak. I get it, but it's MC Hammer too. Shut the fuck up.
You know, it's funny. I feel like we find that out a lot faster these days. Back then, it took a while till I ran into like the old song that the stuff was sampled from. I'd be like, I always felt betrayed, especially by Will Smith. I'm just like, dude, like Men in Black. I was just like, what? This is a song that came out before? I feel slighted.
I love sampling, man. Like to me, that's I have playlists on my Apple Music stuff of just it's called Sample Crazy of like my favorite songs and just the original versions that I feel like are better than like the actual rap versions of the samples, man. So I'm all for that.
Did you think Shock G and Humpty Hump was the same person ever?
Yeah, hell yeah. They look the goddamn same. Like if you had to be like real. I'm not judging nobody. Like if you didn't recognize that, I'm sorry, Jeremy, but you got to kind of be a little touched if you didn't know that's like.
He worked so hard at convincing people that they were not the same person. Like
they look like Clark Kent and Superman. Like,
nah, but Pete,
he worked hard at this.
It was either his brother or his cousin, but in the early days, he would have somebody come out with him, and it'd be two of them looking very close. It was two of them. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Hey, look, I was removed. I was so in my formative years that about time that was a thing, it was over. I was part of the MC Hammer generation, but not necessarily Shock G person.
I just turned 40, so I'm probably a little bit older than you. But I just posted on my IG this clip because Digital Underground was so dope. They did a performance at the Apollo where they came in doing an open mic night, and they had on these bags over their heads, and they came out with Mark Curry, Mr. Cooper. And he was like, tell us who you are. And they're like, they were like, where you all from? They're like, we're from Beaumont, Texas. And they're like, what's the name of y'all group? We're called the Unknown Rappers. And then they had this whack ass song like, we're the Unknown Rappers. We're so good. Unknown Rappers. We're from the hood. And the crowd was like, boo, boo. And then they turned around and took off their jackets and removed the bags and performed that song, Shimmy, Shimmy, Cocoa Pop. And everybody lost their fucking minds.
Hey.
Everybody lost their fucking minds like in the next 5 seconds. I was like, that was so genius.
Man. To
come in there and be like, hey, we're these terrible rappers. Really like Digital Underground. I was like, nigga, that was dope.
And I'm actually just learning a lot more about Shock G just recently, but he was very musically inclined. Like he could play just about every instrument. He's a beast. So it's just funny how creative, he just was in general as a human being.
I experienced because we have the same booking agent, and we did quite a few shows with him. Quite a few shows with him. And once you got him going, there was no brakes on it. And he was like funkadelic, like he oozed funkadelic. When I say oozed it, I mean George Clinton could definitely say that Shock was the funk. He definitely was the funk. I mean, like he vibrated on that same frequency. And him on the keyboard, ridiculous, man. Like he put it this way. Ron amazed me. Ron is Jeremy and myself, our mutual friend or whatever. He plays with the Free Nationals.
Oh, really?
Ron amazes me on the keyboards, but Shock was like that. But Shock would go for hours, man. Like he would go. You'd have to tell, the lights would have to come down.
That's cool because like I feel like every person that's really talented
Mm-hmm.
is a little bit like outside the box in terms of like what people think about, like, right? So that makes sense because he probably was a genius.
Oh,
and
definitely.
he seemed like that. I mean, I never met him, but he just seemed like he kind of marched to his own beat.
And I listened to Sex Packets last weekend. Listen to that album. I mean, that's some funk, some Jimi Hendrix, the whole thing. And
I've never heard that album.
Oh man,
yeah.
But I appreciate stuff like that. Like that's why I like De La Soul so much coming up, because when you heard like De La Soul is Dead and 3 Feet High and Rising, they had all these skits and sketches about just the most like, they were like the first rap group, in my opinion, to be like kind of like hippie, like black hipsters, and you know we see all that shit now, Afro punk and black liberation, but native tongues, like they weren't talking about killing motherfuckers and none of that. They were just talking about, hey man, we just black people, we happy, we smoke weed, we like to have sex, we like to rhyme, you know, like it wasn't about like none of that gangster shit that was so popular back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
They were like the blueprint for like that emo rap, Kanye, Drake, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
So where'd you go to junior high school?
I went to, I said, you bring back bad memories right now.
I'm successful. I don't want to think about the bad times.
No, I went to junior high in the suburbs of Chicago called South Holland, Illinois. And the black kids moved in, the white kids moved out. And I just remember like my parents was like really frugal and they wouldn't buy us name brand shit, but the white kids didn't care. But the black kids would try to roast you for not having on Jordans and for not having cross colors and shit that my parents they just wouldn't buy me that. They were like, I don't care about that. We care about your education. Mm-hmm. You know, fuck these other kids, basically. So the kids would like basically bully me for like being smart, for wearing glasses. You know what I'm saying? For like junior high was just very traumatic, man. I was like, I hate you niggas so much.
What was the popular music in when you was in junior high school?
The popular music?
Yeah.
This is junior high is 94, 95. So 93 to 95 for my junior high, 7th and 8th grade. So this is when Wu-Tang was like, but I'm not listening to Wu-Tang because my parents wouldn't really be into that. So I'm listening to like Ice Cube. I'm listening to the radio. That's my parents let me hear. So the radio was like, Today Was a Good Day, Ice Cube, The Chronic, Nothing But a G Thing. Not the Chronic album, because I listened to the Chronic album recently for the first time, like maybe like 5-6 years ago. I'm like, oh, this shit was vulgar as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But I would listen to the radio and hear the singles for stuff like that. But it was basically like a lot of West Coast music, very West Coast heavy in my junior high years. And then as I got ready to graduate and go to high school, that's when the East Coast kind of came back. But the West Coast was like kind of like at a real high.
It was that moment in time where the West Coast was, you know, before the whole Suge and Puffy and all that kind of stuff.
The West Coast had it popping, G, from Snoop Dogg. What was the album? Doggy Style.
Yeah.
Yes, man. How many songs did he have on the album that blew up? Like Gin and Juice. What's My Name?
That entire album was classic. There's no dead spots.
Man, it's crazy. So that's what I was listening to a lot of times when I was in junior high, man. And that was a long time ago, bro. 93, 94.
So after you graduated junior high school, you in high school. While you're in high school, what do you think your path is going to be after high school?
Man, I wanted to be an artist. So in 8th grade, we had a school play, and for James and the Giant Peach. And I wanted to be like the person who managed the lights for the show, right? Just ran tech.
Okay.
And then I just auditioned on a whim, and I got the lead role for James. And to me, it was like, all right, I might can do this a little bit. But my parents are like, nah, shut that shit up. Like you good at school, you're gonna be an engineer or something involving, your brain. So I thought I was gonna go to college and be an engineer. I did go to college and majored in engineering at Morehouse and stuff like that. So the fact that I'm a comedian and a TV writer, it's like the grace of God, man, because I'm the happiest I've ever been work-wise. That's a lot of bullshit in Hollywood, I ain't gonna lie. But in terms of like being a school teacher from where I came from, I will never complain. Because as a teacher, nigga, that wasn't for me.
Has religion played a part in your journey?
Religion?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I went through a bad breakup in like 2000. The breakup was so bad that I became Muslim for 2 years. Right. And I swear to God, that I was a girl I was dating, and it kind of fucked me up. I started exploring like different religions, and I converted to Islam. I had a Muslim wedding. People don't know this about me a lot. Like my name was Dawood, like in Atlanta. And then it's a long story, but
I kind of want to hear it though. I ain't gonna lie, this is interesting.
Let's talk about it. So I kind of joined like this Atlanta West End. You ever been to the West End of Atlanta? It's like a black area in Atlanta near Morehouse and AUC. It was like this black Muslim sect of brothers who welcomed me in after I became Muslim. They were like, Dawood, like we would go to church on Fridays called Juma. And similarly to church, after church, you know how black people kind of hang around at the church? Well, they would do the same thing in the park, but the guys would hang around the guys and their wives would hang around the wives, and people would be like playing with their kids and shit. It was really dope. But they were like, man, we got to find you a wife. And I was like, okay. So I wasn't having sex at this time. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, man, you got to have some kids. You got to get you a wife, man. And I ended up converting to Islam. And there's a girl who I used to date back in the day converted with me. And we ended up getting married. The girl who I never thought I would have married, but we got married. And then the rules were they were kind of strict. And I think they kind of made us feel kind of like overwhelmed, like this is too much. And then one day I was like, man, I want to drink. I want to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. And she was like, yeah, I do too. I was like, yeah, well, take that shit off your head.
Yo, how come you don't talk about this?
Yo, I don't know, read my mind, Jeremy. I'm over here talking about, man.
Yo,
what I was talking about on stage?
Heck yeah. I ain't never heard you talk about this.
It's just a story, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's funny.
Yeah,
intelligent comedy. I'm over here like
he said, continue. He said, I want to drink. He said, you hungry? Let's go Buffalo Wild Wings. Take that shit off your head.
And then we went, and then we left the religion, and then we got divorced like 3 months later because we didn't really have any substance outside of the religion.
Wow, that's deep.
I mean, we're still cool to this day, but man, like I didn't tell people I was Muslim. I just showed up to homecoming with like a kufi on my head. I had a long beard and a fiance.
I mean, that says everything though.
I'm an alpha. And my frat brothers was like, nigga, what? Are you okay? They like blink twice. Like if you are in danger right now. So
I was thinking of that Martin episode, that Najee Ramba.
Yeah.
But no, that coat. Man. Yeah. But I have family members that was into that, so I actually respected it. And I had the homie who used to pray, and people try to talk to him, and he got the carpet and be right in the way, and you talking to him like, "Where's the restroom?" He is not in. He's all in this.
Make us a lot,
man.
5 times a day, and like I would break out my prayer rug at schools because you got to pray 5 times a day. And before you pray, you got to wash up. Like you got to wash your feet, your hands. So like you might be at a basketball game and it's time to pray. You got to go to the bathroom. And America don't know nothing about that. So you got your foot in the sink. People looking at you like you insane. But I'm like, nigga, I'm about to pray. Like I'm not bothering you. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a very interesting time. I was trying to find myself. I was like 26. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to find an identity for myself, you know, because I knew as a teacher, that wasn't what I really wanted to do. I was just kind of living, you know.
Do you know Mel Carson or Casson? Oh, okay.
Who's that?
It's just we have guests that chime in on the live, and I was just wondering if it's somebody you know.
Oh no, they just chimed in.
Yeah, they just said, "Wow, they enjoying your story."
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey man, riveting. I'm over here sitting.
I got stories, bro. I mean, whatever. Let's keep going. Whatever.
So where were you the first time that you stepped on a stage, and how did it go?
Oh, I told you I was in that.
No, I'm talking about comedy.
You mean an open mic or like
just telling comedy?
Yeah, I did my boys open mic in Chicago when I sat down.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the first time I did it, and I told you it felt like a drug, bro.
Okay.
And then, but here's why I fucked up. I used to drink a lot before I went on stage. I felt like it would calm my nerves, and I think like.
Oh, so wait, when did you stop?
You said what?
When did you stop?
You know, I feel judgment right now, Jeremy.
Nah, you know you're my homie, man.
But you got a basketball jersey in the closet.
I don't play. Go ahead.
But no, I used to feel like I would have to get liquid courage. So like my first 2 shows, I killed. I was like, you know, but then at the third show, I think I just went too hard. And I was at this club called Jokes and Notes in Chicago. And it was one of them black clubs where like if you got busy, the crowd would love you and it would be a great experience. But when you bombed, they would turn the music on. A red light would start flashing on stage. And you know how comics be like, yeah, they'll give you £1 before you go up. After you got booed off or played off, nobody wants to touch you. Nobody wants to give you dap. Nobody wants to talk to you. I just went to the car and I think cried. Like I was just like, damn. But it humbled me because I thought after doing first two shows, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, but that to me was like me doing my best version of myself. But I realized that as a black comedian in Chicago, as a person that is not that animated, and my comedy is kind of, I won't say like highbrow or nothing like that, but I just know that my pace is very slow. I guess she's gonna make you think. And I would like do shows in Chicago and like the black rooms a lot of times, and they was just not feeling that shit, bro. Niggas would be like, nigga, you corny. I was like, okay, all right. Right, like while I'm on stage. So I had to work on just learning to embrace who I was. Mm-hmm. I would come from work in like slacks and a dress shirt and get on stage because I'm like, yo, this is what I'm wearing. I want to just tell jokes. And this is Little Rail's manager at the time. This dude named Knowledge. He was like, man, you better not go on stage dressing like a substitute teacher. So he was like, you can't wear that shit on stage out here. He said, they're gonna roast your ass. So I went to the mall and I started buying shit that niggas was wearing, like in Chicago on the South Side, like jeans with samurais on the back pockets and you know, just like pellies and all types of just ratchet, disgusting clothing that I thought that I needed to wear to be funny. Mm-hmm. I wasn't Dave Helem. Like my name was like Davy Boy. You know, that was my stage name. You know, because somebody told me I had to have a name.
Yeah, man. This dude Philly Cat asked me that. So I feel you.
So your name was always Jeremy Scipio. It wasn't nothing like Jay Smooth.
Bro, I'm so
Jay Scorpion.
I'm so 2D, man. That I wish I was that creative. But you know, just coming up, you know, I came up in black rooms or whatever, and yeah, they tell you all that stuff, man. You know. But I say the one thing that kind of saved me is I'm actually from the hood. So when I would shout my hood out, they'd be like, "What? Oh, snap! What part?" So that gets them on my side. But
I hate that.
Other than that,
we gotta make niggas. We gotta share traumatic experience.
You gotta prove it
for black folks to fuck with you. Like, nigga, you were raped too? You got raped? Nigga, me too. Get over here.
Oh man.
Yeah. do you feel like having a supportive family is essential?
Say that one more time.
You feel like having a supportive family is essential? I should say supportive family, like family support. You know what I mean? Because some people, I say, some people just like, oh man, you're doing comedy, it's great, and other people just be like, man, you know.
You mean
really,
in terms of comedy?
Really, just overall, but career wise more than anything.
It wasn't until my dad passed away in 2014 that my mom really came to a show. My parents never came to a show ever. And I was like, why don't you come to a show? They was like, we didn't think you was funny, like as a child. So not that you doing stand-up, like we didn't see the point of you coming. I mean, of coming to your show. And I was like, damn, Mom. But I think we were at a show where my mom was on a boat in Chicago where she got like a free wristband for like the liquor, open bar. And, she got VIP. So she was kind of like, oh, you are somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like it took her to get some like free Patron for her to realize that I was going to be somebody in life. So no, I didn't have the support of my parents and doing stuff that I love. Like my parents would always kind of like shit on what I love to do. Like I told my mom I was going to the NBA, and she was like, "No, you're not. Eat this cheeseburger and shut the fuck up."
That's come on, man. How old are you?
Like, I remember we had went to rallies. I don't know if you know what rallies is. Like rally, it's like,
of course,
we got them out here.
Okay, so we went to rallies. And I said, Mom, I think I want to go to the NBA because I had just made the basketball team. And I had been cut like the previous like 3 years. So even when I made the team, my mom was like, well, you are kind of one of the good black kids at the school. So I'm pretty sure that you made it because like they knew that you try hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like the Morris Chestnut of the basketball team. Not because I was like a handsome dude like Morris Chestnut, because I was just kind of like the clean cut, like I was on an honor roll. And we had niggas on the team. Okay, so the white coach was like, he tries hard. You know what I'm saying? I was like the Grant Hill, and on the team with like DeMarcus Cousin and Isaiah Ryder and just like a bunch of other niggas. So when I made the team and I was so happy, I was like, Mom, I made the basketball team. She was like, they know you work hard. So I was just like, just give me my flowers, dog.
Yeah.
So, but I think now I'm at a point where like if she needs money, she can call me for shit. So now it's different. But before that, no, sir. No.
So you brought up Chris Rock. Was he the comedian that made you say, you know what, I could do that? Or was there other comedians, or was there another comedian, or he was kind of like the one that kind of opened you to the whole conversation with
Let's talk about it. It's certain comedians give you certain elements. Chris Rock told me how to write a joke in terms of the observational aspect of it, to talk about things that you see and you just observe. He was like the Black Seinfeld, but to me funnier than Seinfeld, right?
Yeah,
because he would just observe what was going on in the Black community and talk about it, which was dope. But ultimately, Dave Chappelle made me realize that you can do whatever the fuck you want to do if you have the confidence in you. Like Dave's confidence is on a whole different level of. So maybe that's why I was tweaking that night, Jeremy.
I know, I knew you before you even moved. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember you was like, yeah, this is what it's all about. Like you was part of the show.
Jeremy. It's called rare form. That's what it's called. And
come on, man. If you see one of your heroes, dog, like and I've seen Dave Chappelle in Chicago, and one of my boys got me backstage access to this concert at Talia Hall. He handed me a clove cigarette while he was on stage. Like I'm a fan, dog. Like it's certain people that when you meet, like you're gonna lose your fucking mind.
Yeah.
So and I met Dave Chappelle a few times, but every time I meet him, true story. He was having niggas rap at one of his concerts, and I'm drunk again, and I used to be a rapper, and my name was Twig.
Hey,
they call me Twig because I snap on niggas, right? And
I love it.
I remember they were like, who can freestyle, and my friends pushed me on stage, and I got thrown up there. And he was like, oh shit, it's Raekwon, right? It's Raekwon.
Oh,
So when I saw him at the back bar at the Comedy Store, I'm gonna tell you why that night was so dope. That night was the last night I hung out with Kevin Barnett, which is one of my good friends who passed away in January 2019.
Man, you know, I never met him. That's crazy.
He was such a great dude.
Yeah, man.
Such a fucking great guy. And that was the last night because he was supposed to do my show at the Bronson Bar that Thursday. And he said, I'm at Gerard Carmichael's house doing some work. I can still come, but I'm running late. I said, man, just come next week. I'll book you on the show next week. And he didn't live past that weekend. But that night at the back bar in the Comedy Store, man, is DL Hughley's back there. It's Dave Chappelle. It's Talib Kweli.
Oh yeah. I remember
that was a crazy night, dog.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Just like, and then we started singing "I Believe I Can Fly." Like the whole Donnell Rollins, Ashley Larry was leading the whole room, and R. Kelly rendered, "I Believe I Can Fly," and everybody was just singing it, drunk as shit. And I don't support R. Kelly. I would not. I will say in that moment, that was one of the greatest times of just my LA experience of comedy. I was just like this is it, just to be around your heroes. And only thing that could have topped that is if I would have been able to hang out with Patrice O'Neal. But I kind of feel like Patrice O'Neal would have probably like roasted me or some shit because he's probably was an asshole to a lot of people.
Right. No, I just missed him too, man. Yeah, I started 2010 and 2011, Elephant in the Room dropped. Instant fan. First time I seen
that's
it.
That's when the first time I had ever heard of him too.
And
I was like, this is like genius level confidence.
Oh man, like just the way he tackled it.
That's my trio right there. Dave, Chris, Patrice, and Wanda Sykes. I'm gonna throw her in there too because the way that she can. I mean, she's very much like Chris Rock in a lot of ways, but she is fucking great, man. And that's what I aspire to always do when I get on stage is to be my true self. I don't care. This might sound like I'm lying, but I'm not. People say we do comedy for other people, for the crowd. I don't. I do comedy for shit I want to talk about.
Same here.
And people say, "Oh man, you lying." I'm not lying at all. Like it's something about talking into this mic and saying what the fuck I think is funny that like makes me like excited. It's not the reaction of the crowd per se. I'm at the point now of like if the crowd ain't laughing, I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck y'all. Not in a bad way, but it's kind of like, this is what I want to talk about.
Yep.
Nah, your truth. That's dope. You make art out of your truth. And that, like, I'm not the biggest comedian critic or just whatever, but the comedians that I like are ones that can take their truth like clay and form it into, they can articulate it to other people. And that's what brings about like the true comedic humor and whatnot.
It's your truth, like you said. And there's so many things in the world that you cannot be yourself. Where you have to, like, even in LA and Hollywood, you gotta play the game in terms of like in writers' rooms for TV shows and stuff like that. Like, unless you are the HNIC of a show, you gotta learn to kind of play your role, even though when you have good ideas and people are like, no, we shouldn't do that. Or even when your idea is better than another idea that they go with, but you have no power a lot of times. And I feel like as a comedian, it's frustrating because we have the power on stage. It's like I'm the boss. Yes. I am my own person. Like no one's going to tell me what not to do. So, and I feel like everybody needs that in their own way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like therapy to me, to be honest with you. When I come on stage and I just talk about the things that I've written down for the week, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But this is me just spewing out like a psychiatrist. But it's not a psychiatrist, it's an audience. I'm loving every second of it.
There's two me's. I always give like the streamlined, I don't want to say generic, but this is streamlined opinion because I want to blend in with society. You know what I'm saying? That's the off stage me. You get, hey Jeremy, what's your favorite color? Blue, right? But then you have the real me, which is why do you need to identify who you are by assigning a color of the color spectrum to who you know what I mean? Like this is so many things to be take seriously. Really, you chose a color and you feel like you're special. Only time I can be that person is on stage. Nowhere in society is that person susceptible at all. Period.
People
off stage, he probably get lumped up a little bit, man. First time I try.
Oh, bro, no, bro. First of all, I went to a really good school. I fought, got beat up, everything. I could talk my way into and out to. However you feel is how I want you to feel when I speak. Trust you me. I've seen all the scenarios. It's like the Matrix to me. It's like, do I really press that button? Nah, I got work in the morning. But question: are you a fan of BJ the Chicago Kid?
Absolutely, man. I think he has one of the best voices in terms of I don't know why he's not like because he's still kind of like he's mainstream, but I just feel like he doesn't get the love that he deserves. I feel like most folks just don't fuck with him enough, but he's crazy talented. So I'm a big fan of him, and he's from Chicago as well, but I think his voice is just fucking dope. You know, I'm a big fan.
I was like the connection between there's always a loose connection between hip hop and comedy, you know what I'm saying? And you know, you talk about Bring the Pain, that's Method Man right there. Kill 'Em Softly, that's you know, Lauryn Hill and Fugees. And you know, it's just like it's so many examples, but I like that little subtle nod to, you know, them with your album title or your special title.
Yeah, man. I named my album DJ the Chicago Kid because I'm David Jr. So growing up, I was DJ. I'm from Chicago. So I was going to name my album The Chicago Kid at first. But then I was like, it just came to me one day, like, DJ The Chicago Kid. And true story, maybe like a few days before it came out, actually maybe like a month before it came out, I was having brunch at the Four Seasons in LA. And BJ the Chicago Kid came out of the fucking hotel brunch, and I said, BJ, you know, I'm a couple mimosas in, and he's like, hey man, you don't know me, I'm from Chicago, but I named my comedy album after you. And then I showed him the artwork on my phone, and he was like, that's fucking dope, bro. Because I had saw him at Hannibal Buress's album taping in Inglewood at the Majestic maybe a couple years ago. So, you know, we were just kind of rapping about like Chicago regular shit, but it was cool to tell somebody, the person who I named my album after, and show him that, like, yo, this is named because of you. And so that was a real cool experience.
You already answered my next question, so I'm about to wing it.
Okay.
What was your process to be able to sit down at a writer's table? The short form, you know.
What do you mean? Be a little bit more specific with the question.
So you're blessed to be able to sit at writers' tables, and share thoughts and concepts with other creative minds and whatnot. What was your process from only being able to step on the stage and tell jokes to be able to?
I give it all up to stand up, man. Stand up is the reason why every opportunity has ever, like, my first three, not the only reason, but the reason I'm in a Writers Guild now is because I knew another stand-up by the name of James Davis, who had a TV show called Hood Adjacent, that, you know, my manager happened to be repping one of the showrunner as well for that show at the time was his client. So he got me an interview with her. And this is my first time visiting LA in October 2016. And, you know, your first time coming to LA, man, from Chicago, I'm 34. I'm 30. Yeah, I'm 35 at this point, right? So I've done it all I can do in Chicago, bro. Like, I'm like, man, you know, I'm ready to get the fuck out. I'm ready to come to LA. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. I'm out here for my first time. I'm at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles on Sunset. Like, I'm
no hawk.
You said what?
No hawk.
Yep. And it's just one of those things where I was just so ready to come out here. So I interviewed for the job, but they had an opening, and I didn't get it. So I was like kind of heartbroken, not heartbroken, but just kind of sad. But I enjoyed my time in LA. So a couple months later, I'm doing this show in DC, this sketch comedy show called Black Side of the Moon in DC. It was like a sketch stand-up hybrid show that we did for 2 months in DC. It was like really dope at the Woolly Mammoth Theater. And my car had just got repossessed in 2016. So I'll come back to Chicago, and after being on stage every night in DC doing this show with like with 5 other really talented cast members, come back to Chicago was like, I don't want to be here. Like, there's nothing for me to do. I've kind of like reached my ceiling in Chicago in my mind. So I'm performing at a show on a Thursday night, and I get an email that's waiting for me once I get off stage. And as my manager says, hey, book your ticket this weekend. You start working on the James Davis show on Monday. So I guess somebody had like got fired or something like that. Actually, not I guess. Somebody got fired. James had texted me earlier that week and was like, hey, man, I'm trying to bring you on still, but, you know, we'll see. So I finally got the email saying you start on Monday. So I had to tell my mom, my friends. Like, that night was like one of the greatest nights of my life, man, because niggas was like, nigga, you made it. Like, you moving to LA? Like, and that's all I wanted to do was move out to LA and just come out and write and be a writer and do stand-up and all that stuff. So that I came out with like $1,200 in my pocket, no backup plan, sleeping on niggas' couches. You know, I didn't have a plan, dog. I was just, and then like that show got canceled. I only had an 8-week contract on that show. So I think I'm gonna come out there and just be made, like, and just be set for a long time. No, that money went away. I had no backup plan. I had to go redo my taxes, my W-9 stuff, so I can get back tax money, because I was real cool with the HR person, and I was like, I'm fucked up out here. I need all my money back for my taxes right now. Right? So she got me like $4,000 like within the next few days or whatever.
Oh,
but
cool.
I just don't know, bro. Like how, like I know right now I'm okay and I'm stable, but 2017 was a motherfucker.
Dog, you know, first of all, I didn't know that. I think I know you because I knew you before you moved out here. I met you at the Laugh Factory with Felonious because y'all used to do a show together.
Blipsters.
Yeah, and I think I was on a show that was like maybe it's like earlier than y'all's, or maybe the night before, something like that. And I think I had got cool with him, but I think he introduced us, and he was like, you said, Jeremy Scipio, man, you go, yeah, man, you travel a lot. You go, how you afford those plane tickets? You said, how you afford that? I'm like, I don't know. I just go.
Because I was so poor. I was like, how do you do that? How do you pay for this?
But no, for real though, bro. I mean, you always had good energy, man. Like, you know, I know back when you was you was staying with another comic, but I didn't know how bad it was. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I relate because when I'm going through stuff, I don't really broadcast it either. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you always had good energy though, for sure.
Thank you, man. I mean, it was times when I was out there taking like the train, the bus, like $2 in my checking account just to go watch comedy because I just wanted to be around it, even though I had no money in my pocket, you know. Right. So I would take the red line to the bus to go to the Improv, and by the grace of God, man, like things just kind of changed, and I weathered the storm out. And also, like my lady who I'm about to marry now, she held me down. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I think without her, I wouldn't be in LA right now. You know, so it's one of them stories where it's like, you got to really be appreciative of people who hold you down when you need it. So it's like my what's the word I'm looking for? I want to repay that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because I owe it to her, but it's just kind of like, I just want to be able to be like, I got you. So like, when I sell a TV show or I'm a showrunner and I'm making the big bucks, quote unquote, I want to be like, no, you ain't got to work no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it. You can chill, because there was times when she held me down when I didn't have shit. So, and that's real.
What was the process of making your comedy special?
That was kind of traumatic, man, because I was told that I got requested by the Tribeca Film Festival to do an hour special in like February and in April, but then COVID hit. So I was supposed to go to New York and do my hour. So I was gonna start preparing for it, but then with COVID hit, I didn't do comedy for like 4 months, and then my manager said, "Well, we're going to do it at a drive-in. It's going to be like the first drive-in show in LA." Like, so I'm like, all right, cool. So I flew back home to Chicago because Chicago was still open at the time, and I ran my set in bars where I could, and I was rusty. And luckily, like, the adrenaline from just being on stage and being out there doing my hour, and luckily we had a teleprompter that I could have like the name of each joke that because that stuff was I would have been kind of freaking out because I haven't done comedy in so long, but I just took my time, and it was really fun. I wish that I could have done it another time and got to choose which taping that I did, because there's some jokes that I feel like
I left one taping.
It was just one taping, dog. Like, it wasn't. That was one shot. I didn't start no jokes over, nothing. I just went, and it was 71 minutes. But there was some things I had said in there about like the Muslim stuff. You said, why don't you talk about that on stage? And I said it, but then I watched it. I was like, this sounds kind of mean, so I took it out.
Interesting.
Okay. So. And I know that comedy is an art, but at the same time, I want to be respectful to people who I care about in some way. So
yeah.
I didn't leave that stuff in there.
Other
than that, it was just one taping, one shot, boom.
No, it was good, man. Like seriously, when I look at it, I'm just like, just on such a massive scale, and even the interaction between you and the people, which I know was hard, but you made it work. Like, like you was actually.
I was like, yo, you got a baby. You got a baby at this show. Why? You fucking up. That was like the first thing I saw, but I feel like that made me kind of like made me relax and kind of get in my flow more, So it was great.
Yeah.
So your 3 favorite rappers, your top 3, any order?
People who I enjoy just hearing them rap. Like, oh, I love to hear you rap. You rap so good to me. Kendrick.
Yep.
Kendrick is up there. Fonte of Little Brother.
Okay.
AKA Fonte Coleman. I just love the way that man raps. And man, I'll get one more. I guess it gotta be Nas. Like, it's just something about Nas's his coolness. Even when he's doing a Hennessy commercial and he's just talking, and like because that's what he had now in his career. He just do Hennessy commercials, but like his voice is just so like raspy but calm at the same time. And I just don't know anybody else who like can ride a beat like he does. And some people say he can't ride a beat. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like that verbal intercourse. That's like my favorite verse of all time.
Live at the barbecue.
What is that? Through the
lights, camera, action, glamour, glitter, and gold. Unfold the scroll, plant seeds, the stampede, the global.
Come on,
like geese.
That is like the smoothest like landing into a beat ever. Come on, man.
And Live at the barbecue was dope too. Like we say, what's the street disciple? My rap's a trifle.
I shoot slugs from my brain just like a rifle. Stampede the stage. I leave the microphone spit. Play Mr. Tuffy while I'm on some pretty tone shit. Verbal assassin, architect.
I went to hell for snuffing Jesus, dog.
Yeah. That line.
You know, I saw Nas rap Illmatic in 2014. It was a 20-year anniversary while drinking a full bottle of Hennessy. I'm like, nigga, I don't know how you did that, but
man. So I saw Nas at so the night Prince, it wasn't the night he died, but it was around that, like maybe like 2 days after.
like
Dave
April
Chappelle,
2016.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Okay.
I just know Dave, he Dave Chappelle do his pop-up shows. This one was crazy because literally like I was performing at Genghis Cohen, and Dave had a show at No Name Bar next to the Dime, and literally all these celebrities just coming through. I made sure as soon as our show was over, I got in there, and man, that's actually how I met Stevie Wonder, because he came through, and it was funny because Stevie Wonder, like everybody hugging Stevie, like talking to him. I'm like, y'all don't even know. He don't know y'all. Like, relax. And then he came by me. I was like, oh yeah, I love you, Stevie. Like,
you were like, why y'all doing this whack shit? And then you're like, I'm gonna do the whack shit too.
Yeah, of course. It's Stevie. It's whatever. But it was crazy. Like hella celebrities coming through. And also I like what happens is people when a celebrity when there's a bigger star in the room, it humbles the other celebrities, whatever. Like it's just like it humanizes them. Cause like when Dion Cole, which I'm already cool with, whatever, when he came in, it was just like he just, he as soon as he come in, starstruck, this is like, is that Stevie? And so then, I'm chilling by the door, like, me and my crew, because we barely got in, and then in walks Nas, and the place is so packed. I mean, there's so many people there. I can name tons of people like Naomi Campbell, whatever, but it's packed.
This is a small space.
It's not super small. It's literally the bar right next to the Dime. It's bigger, but it's just.
Does it exist still?
I think so. Yeah,
because I mean, I know Nas owns Sweet Chick.
He does own Sweet Chicks. Next door before that,
but I don't know the other spot you just mentioned.
Yeah, it's called No. I didn't even know the name until that night. No Name Bar.
So how'd you get in?
I know people, man.
Okay, like how you afford them plane tickets?
But I just remember somebody hit me like yo, like come here, and I'm like, I mean, I couldn't have been closer. You know where Genghis Cohen is at, right? Like literally, it's like across Melrose. So.
Right.
So, but only reason I'm saying all this is because Nas walk in, he's a human, like he's like right there, and he can't even go nowhere. It's not. He's just standing next to me and waiting to go up or whatever. So I talked to him for a second. But he was just chilling. Then when Dave found out he was there, he's like, bring Nas up. Nas like, nah. He's like, no, bring him up. Brings him up. They try to perform. It ain't hard to tell. And Nas was forgetting. You could tell he was drunk. He was forgetting the words, man. It was pissing me off, man. I was like, let me go up there. I'll finish it for him.
It ain't hard to tell. I mean, you know what? If he's faded, I'm pretty sure that probably was a little difficult, but I'm sure he didn't want to do that no way though. Like,
nah, he just came. Dave just text people and they just fall through, man.
Man, that's why, and I think that's why I have such a fascination with Dave Chappelle, is because my favorite two things are comedy and music. So he blends that. Remember that movie he came out with, Dave Chappelle Block Party?
Yes.
Like I remember watching that in the theater in 2006, and I'm just like. Watching all this backpack rap, you know what I'm saying? The Roots, Kanye, Common, Erica, Jill Scott, the Fugees.
The Fugees reunited there. Yep.
Yeah, it was just kind of like nobody brings those two worlds together better than Dave. And when I see him at I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl. It was like Dave Chappelle. I saw him 2 nights. I think one night was like Dave Chappelle and friends, where he was just like bringing up random people and you didn't know who was going to join. And then he brought like De La Soul, Michael Che came through, Talib Kweli came out,
Yep.
But then he had like the Dave Chappelle, Lauryn Hill concert. And, Lauren went last, but I was like, man, fuck all that. I don't care. I mean, Lauren, I respect her, but I'm here to see Dave.
Would you say that Dave is your favorite contemporary sketch artist?
By far. not far. I mean, well, you know, when you go back and you watch shows like In Living Color, like In Living
I'll say
Color,
contemporary, like right now, because In Living Color was like a forerunner. I look at it as a forerunner.
well, Chappelle's show was like
That shows
18 years ago.
That's a decade, yeah. Oh, 18.
And,
That's crazy.
and Living Color was
30 years ago.
well 13 years before that. So
Boy.
relatively, they're not that, you know, far from each other in terms of like when they came out. But to answer your question, in terms of contemporary, yeah, I guess so. Like in terms of, but it's a lot of good black sketch out stuff right now that people don't even necessarily know. Like you got the Astronomy Club that was on Netflix. It got canceled after one season, but that was a really damn good show.
I'm gonna check it out.
The Astronomy Club, Black Lady Sketch Show, even Key and Peele is pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying? But Dave took music and hip hop. He would have them live performances. Well, like remember he was just driving down the street with Mos Def.
Mhm.
Mos Def was just rhyming in the car, like
You're cruising on your spot down low, trying to bother any nigga that got on glow. Yeah, that was hard.
he had Kanye and Common performed The Food. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and that was the actual recording they used on Common's album for
yes,
Beat.
it is. Yep.
You know, so Dave is kind of just like, I'm a person who kind of came up, even though the 90s kind of raised me as an adolescent, I kind of came up in that neo soul genre of rap in the 2000s with Little Brother, the Soulquarians, like what do you call it? Trap Called Quest, D'Angelo, you know, like Talib, like Mos Def. So late 90s, early 2000s hip hop to me is like, that's my Wu-Tang, that's my Nas. Like that golden era of 94, I was a little young for that. But I was definitely in Atlanta in 2005 with like a blazer I got from like the thrift store with like a fedora on, one of them, the same hat that Common had on his album cover, with like a t-shirt on. You know how Dave Chappelle would dress, like when he would host Chappelle's show. T-shirt, blazer, like straight leg jeans with like some diesel shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like that was me, G, just enjoying being around good energy and listening to shit like Pharaoh Monch and Little Brother, Foreign Exchange, Erykah Badu, like Jill Scott, like that was my vibe. Niggas with beards and glasses, like just enjoying life in Atlanta, you know. So that's what Dave represents to me, and maybe that's why I'm a big fan, because even though I'm 40, Dave is not even that old. Dave was like 46, so it's like
he's a little older than that, but yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
I gotta Google this. Like I
think go. I don't like being wrong, but I think only reason why I say I feel like he's older than that is because
47.
47? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember him saying his age a while ago, and it just was like not translating. But that's still right there though. That's right there.
But that's not old, bro. 47 is not old at all. And I think that I'm kind of Dave's older than me, but I still consider him and me the same generation. With like Talib and Mos Def. I remember one night at the Improv. It was a Monday night. This is that same week that I was hanging out with my boy Kevin before he passed away. And I remember somebody had hit Michael Blackson's car on a Monday night. He was so pissed off.
Oh, I remember that too. Yeah.
This is a D-Ray's night at Mo Better Mondays or whatever it's called. At the bar was Talib, Mos Def, and Chappelle. They pulled up in this big ass like SUV, and once again, I'm a fan. I'm just sitting there like, and I shook Mos Def's hand. He was cool as shit, and I was just like these are my heroes. Like, it's no cooler niggas in the world to me than these cats right here. That whole sound bombing, like just neo soul rap shit, you know, with Common and all them, like that's me, bro.
Yeah,
I'm excited to talk about this shit now, bro. Like,
you know Chris Riggins, don't you? Yeah, I was saying, man, he actually introduced me to Talib on the Comedy Store patio, and the way he did it, it was like it was, I don't know, it was very humbling for myself just because he goes, Talib. No, he goes, Jeremy, this is Talib, man. He's a great rapper. Hey, Talib, this is Jeremy. He's a great comedian. And I'm like, nigga, no. I'm not, like, what? It's not an equivalent thing, but thank you.
It is though. It is. In our minds, we put them on a pedestal, but in their mind, they're like, nigga, I'm a person just like you are. You know, like
absolutely. But it's just hard when I like, man, I've memorized like hours of things that you've said. So, but you're right though.
You know, I want to say that I think that people have respect for you the same way you have for Talib. It's just that people just don't know your story yet. So like, you know, that shit don't matter. And unfortunately, I think we put value and too much stock in the people knowing what we are and who we are over like the package. But that was cool what he did though.
Mm-hmm.
That's real cool.
Yeah. Real quick, I feel like you kind of did it already. Can you describe yourself 5 years ago?
Yeah, that was for me in Chicago, man. I was kind of going through a rough. I remember the Cubs had won the World Series. I think it was like November 1st, 2nd, 2016. I'm at a bar in Chicago. I don't have any money at all. Like the Jim from North Bar in Chicago, he was like giving me free beers and just letting me watch the game because I had no money. I think my checking account was like overdrawn. I let my car go, like I told you. Let them just take it because I was just like, you know, I can't afford this shit. And I was just in survival mode. Like it wasn't good times, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even pay the meter, you know what I'm saying, and park and do stuff. So I just knew something had to change. Like I was a lot bigger, like weight wise. I was just drinking all the damn time in Chicago, and I was just in a space where I knew that I needed a change. I needed to get out of Chicago. Mm-hmm. I mean, Chicago made me who I was comedically, but I knew I just need to be around something bigger. So, and then it happened. And it wasn't easy, but you know, I think it's gonna be God willing, it's gonna be a lot more in store. I pray that it will be.
Well, I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan. I mean, the hip hop part was a dope conversation, but your story though, like, and then you, like, I haven't seen you tell a joke, but you allowed yourself to be very transparent, you know, during this interview, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
I'm gonna hit you with the last one. Where do you see social interaction going in the next 2 years?
I think people are yearning for it. So I think that the last year has been like, oh, don't come around me. But I know, like, I've seen people, and you know, they do that weird elbow thing, and I'm like, man, come here, dog. And then I hug them because it's like, yo, like I miss you, right? So I don't know. I took my 2 vaccine shots as of last Saturday. I'm not scared. So I'm hoping that we kind of can go back to what things were. And I'm sure that it won't necessarily be that, but we can kind of inch back to that as more people get vaccinated, and which I'm hoping that Black folks do, because Black folks be like, oh, I don't trust the government. I'm like, nigga, you smoking a Black and Mild and drinking Hennessy, and you talking about the fucking vaccine. Okay, like I'm hoping that things kind of go back to a space where people can just be around each other. And I think it's going to happen. The Comedy Store opens up on Friday.
It does.
I'll be out of town, so I won't be there, but I will be there shaking all the hands and dapping up people who I miss. And I will put my hand sanitizer on, carry it around. I don't care, but I miss it. So I'm hoping that we go back to sports, stadiums. I mean, it's all coming back slowly, but we keep finding out that the shit that we thought, remember how there was like, you know, if you touch something, you can spread the COVID. And then they came out later and they was like, it's not really spread by like touching shit. So all that hand sanitizer and all that shit, like it was for naught. So I'm just hoping that we can come back to a space where you can enjoy seeing the people that you used to see, because to me that was a big part of my life that I really enjoyed that I have not been able to do. And I miss comedy shows, I miss my friends, so I need this shit, bro. Like I'm hoping that we kind of get back to the world opening back up, because you can only be inside and answer the question, what do you want for dinner every night for so long. Every night, what do you want to eat tonight? I don't know. How was your day? You were here with me the entire day. So, you know, I'm praying. This is a cry to God. Yes. Bring it back, please. That's it, man.
Nah, that's tight. Well, nah, man, I appreciate you tapping in, man. I definitely through this interaction, man. I'm a fan, and I'm gonna go and check you out. But you were hilarious. Like you know, your comedy is smart comedy. Like I can just tell through the stories and the transparency. And Jeremy's comedy is the same, is similar. Now I won't say it's the same because I have but Jeremy's comedy is like
niggas be thinking.
Yeah, he'll say something, and then you'd be like, damn. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Niggas be thinking.
Yeah. That's tight. Well, do you have anything you want to shout out? Anything you got coming up that you want people to check out? Where can we go to see your special?
The special is on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. I think you can see it on YouTube. It's $4.99 to rent, $12 to buy it. It's worth it. It's an hour long. It's really fucking good. I'm very proud of it. Just follow me on the social medias, man. Like it's a lot more content that I'm trying to come out with in terms of like, I got a podcast called Jays and Grays for like, you know, niggas with grays in their beard who still wear Jordans, like, and who think we cool, but we not.
I didn't know that's why you call it that. That's funny.
literally right now, like.
I saw it. I didn't know. That's funny.
Like, it's hey, take my shoe off.
The concrete, you'll say.
So we try to figure out how to get that to a bigger platform and stuff right now. It's kind of hard with podcasts because like it's just, you know, they're so good. It's just so many. It's just so many.
Tell us about it.
It's like, oh, podcast. You're like, oh god. So like, you know, just follow me at Dave Helem on everything, man. I'm out here in these streets trying to spread Black mental men's health in a positive way. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest thing, man. I want people to be well, go to counseling, get better. That's it.
Nah, that's dope. And you, Jeremy, you got anything you want to shout out? Anything you got coming up?
I'm headlining 178 Bar and Grill, located somewhere far. But it's like past Bakersfield. I don't know. But I don't know. My May is all over the place, but let's just focus on that right now. That's the April the 30th, which is Friday. Yeah. So other than that, I'm chilling, getting stuff done. Honestly, man, you know, it's crazy because we went from seeing each other at least once every week or two to not seeing each other, man. I'm just glad you're doing well. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you're successful. I mean, like I said, your special was great, man. And you know what I mean? You're my brother, man. You've always looked out.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, bro, it's always been, you know what I mean? You know how people, you got like some tension, you be like, oh man, I can't go in there, or oh, this nigga on the show, you know what I'm saying? But nah, he's always been cool, always booked me on the spot. You know what I mean? Like straight up, like you know.
You're a good energy person too, man. Like you kind of know people who have good energy, like you feel it. People who I don't feel that from, and you know, I knew that from day one. You know, it's one of them gut instinct things that you just kind of know when you meet folks. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That's tight. Well, I want to shout out Batos, BOTT. It's 3 T's, OS. Breaking on out to the other side. My homeboy, business partner, etc., so on. He came out with a cannabis oil, and so, look forward to checking that out very soon. It'll be available, distributed by California Cannabis, and Yeah, man, it's a really cool situation, man. It's a really cool situation. I will be able to elaborate more and get further into it. Right now, it's just finally inching towards the finish line, but it's looking real good. So yeah, I wanted to shout that out. And once again, Dave, I really appreciate you tapping in.
Thank you, bro.
I appreciated the story, the hip, and it's crazy because like everybody can congregate around hip hop, like regardless of the genre, regardless of what it was. And then like it was entertaining to me to see, okay, like so Dave lit up about Wu-Tang, and then anyone that watches the podcast knows that Jeremy loves Nas. Oh my God, he loves Nas. See, both of you guys get that. Me being a little older, like probably 10 years, you guys, well, 10 years your senior, Dave. Okay. It's dope because with all the music out there, even though you guys can still look at the OGs a little bit and say like, man, no, they, we that was dope. It's a different dope going on right now, but that was dope. Yeah. So with that being said, this has been Splendid Radio on Pharcyde.